Hello, my name is Carol, and I'm a proud San Francisco resident and one of more than 300 volunteers for San Francisco City Guides, which is a nonprofit program of the San Francisco Public Library. Even though our free donation-based walking tours are on hold as we respect our city's shelter-in-place ruling, we are still able to bring you small imagination-based tours to have you walking through our beloved city of San Francisco in your mind. The tour that I give is about one of the most significant events in San Francisco history, the 1906 earthquake and fire, which has never been more relevant than today as our city fights this pandemic together. That earthquake was at 5:12 in the morning on April 18th, 1906. Just a few days away from today will be the commemoration. And typically I start my tour right on Market Street near First and Market. But for this mini tour, we are starting back in 1906 with this actual video of Market Street that was filmed by the Miles brothers literally 4 days before the earthquake struck. You can see how busy and bustling Market Street was and still is today. 4 days later, the earthquake hit at 5:12 in the morning, and this is a photo taken from Market Street in a similar close by place. Shaking lasted for a full minute. And for a few minutes, it seemed like the worst was over. There were some collapsed buildings, but the city had seen earthquakes before. But that's when the disastrous fires started, and they lasted for 3 days. At that point, San Francisco had about 410,000 residents. And of those, 250,000 people were homeless, and around 3,000 people died, including the city's heroic fire chief, Dennis Sullivan, who laid the groundwork for much of the fire safety infrastructure we have in the city today. One of the stops on my tour is this fountain that if you've spent any time in Market Street, you've probably walked past. It's at the intersection of Market, Geary, and Kearny Street. This is Lotta's Fountain. It's a 24-foot tall iron sculpture, and it was given to the city by a vaudeville star named Lotta Crabtree. Lotta was born during the gold rush to a gold miner father, and she grew up in Grass Valley. And her parents quickly discovered that she was a gifted singer and dancer who would perform for the gold miners. And even after she left San Francisco to seek more fame and fortune in New York City, becoming one of the highest paid entertainers in the entire country, she loved San Francisco and gave this fountain to the city in 1875. So why do I stop here on my 1906 earthquake tour? Well, after the earthquake, survivors who are looking for their loved ones would leave notes at Lotta's Fountain and would plan to reunite with their friends and family right here. It became this very meaningful community meeting place. And it was so important that in 1910, the most famous singer in the world at that time, Luisa Tetrazzini, chose Lotta's Fountain to give a free concert on Christmas Eve. And you can see from this picture how many people packed in. 250,000 people gathered, and the fountain is right behind me, to hear the performance, which filled the air without even the need for any loudspeakers. And every year at 5:12 in the morning on April 18th, a couple hundred people gather here in San Francisco today, including descendants of survivors, to commemorate this important time in our history. I was able to attend last year, and I actually saw our mayor, London Breed, in this amazing period costume, as well as firefighters and many other safety workers. So this commemoration has been postponed for this year as due to safety regulations. But as a City Guide volunteer, I look forward to being able to walk Market Street with you in person and tell you even more stories about your amazing city.